Welcome to the Crimson Tide Connection, your home for Crimson Tide sports. I'm joined today by the head coach of the Alabama soccer team, Todd Bramble. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Coach, I would say you would be probably happy to be here after this past week. You had two great victories, one over Vanderbilt, 5-2 on Friday, and a 4-2 win against Tennessee on Sunday. Your team scored 9 goals in back-to-back SEC contests for the first time since 1997. What do you attribute most of that offensive output to?
Well, I think it's just the players sticking to it, what we were doing in training, really believing in themselves, believing in the system, and just really gaining confidence from all the repetitions that we started to give them in training over the past few weeks. And it was good to see that first goal go in. And we had talked about a lot with the team that whoever scored the first goal, it wasn't just really going to affect them personally. It was going to be, a positive effect on the whole team, and that's what we saw this weekend.
Well, Coach, the fact that you played that well in 2 games is great, but even more impressive is the fact that Merrill Van Dongen, who was arguably the team's MVP for the first part of the year, was not in the lineup for those games. Can you talk about Merrill and which players stepped up in her absence?
Well, Merrill, she wasn't in the lineup against Florida and Vanderbilt because she was away with the Netherlands representing that national team in a World Cup qualifier with their game against Albania, but unfortunately on that trip she got injured, so we're actually going to be out without Merrill for the rest of the season now. She sustained an injury that's going to keep her out for the rest of the year. So we did have the challenge of trying to find someone who could step up and fill that role, fill her shoes. And Laura Lee Smith, we plugged her in. She had a couple days of training in that position, which was an entirely new position for her. And she was outstanding on the weekend as well. She, contributed 3 goals to our effort, but more than that, she did a whole lot for us in the games, and we're really happy with the start she's off to in that role.
Well, Coach, another player that stepped up in a big way this week is Pia Rosdike. She scored 3 goals and wins over Vanderbilt and Tennessee, including the game winner against Tennessee on Sunday. You needed someone to step up and put the ball in the net, and she certainly did that in a big way.
She did, and that's the easy part of looking at the box scores and our results and seeing who scored the goals. And Pia had a big weekend for us, but as a coaching staff and looking a little bit deeper and analyzing in the games, she did way more for us than just scoring those goals. Her work ethic and her work rate defensively was tremendous, and when she got the ball, her percentage of completed passes was outstanding this weekend. So it was really a well-rounded weekend and performance from her all around, and the goals that she scored is the icing on the cake.
Right. Well, Coach, can you talk about the confidence those 2 big SEC wins gives this team headed into this weekend's games?
Well, I think for all of the goal scorers, the attacking players on our team, they've got to be feeling a lot better about themselves, or even good about themselves for the first time this year. So, we've got to keep that going. We've got to keep that positive energy from the attacking side of the ball. We got to keep that alive. And our defenders, that group in the back, they're doing a great job. And just to get wins in a tough conference feels good. But the next challenge we have ahead of us is playing on the road. And we haven't been a great road team this year. So, I kind of like the fact that now we got to go out and play on the road. Because that's really going to have to dial up our intensity and our concentration and our focus and see if we can improve in that area.
Well, Coach, talking about going on the road, you have a couple of tough matchups this past weekend. You go on the road to play Georgia on Friday night before returning home to host LSU on Sunday. Can you talk about those matchups and how do you feel like you match up against those 2 teams?
Well, 2 teams that are really hot right now. Georgia had just won 9 games in a row, coming into their last game against Kentucky where they got upset up in Lexington. So they're coming off of a loss. Playing in Athens is always a tough challenge. They get great crowds there, so that's going to be a big night for us to try to find a way to get a result in Athens, and then to come back home and play LSU on Sunday. LSU's at the top of the league right now in first place all by themselves, so they're really playing well right now. And that's a team that had a lot of success in the western part of the SEC recently. So we've got 2 huge games ahead of us this weekend to go on the road and then to travel back. It'll be nice to be home on Sunday, though.
Well, Coach, it seems like the excitement and level of participation in soccer is starting to grow in the state of Alabama a good bit.
It's a huge participation sports. The clubs, high schools are all improving each year. We're always, make it a point to get to the high school Final Four each year. Well, we pay close attention to all the clubs in the state and what they're doing, and it does keep getting better each year.
Well, Coach, this Friday, as we said, you travel to Athens to take on Georgia at 6 p.m. And on Sunday, the Tide returns to Tuscaloosa to face off against the Tigers of LSU. Game time is set for 1 p.m. And if you can't be here in person, you can watch it on Tide TV at rolltide.com. And, Coach, I know you said you had a great crowd this past Friday night. Crimson Chaos was great on Sunday, and you'd love to get a combination of that there on Sunday against LSU.
Yeah, I know it's tough after a football game sometimes for people to get out there on Sundays, but the group that we have, especially the students, that group, the Crimson Chaos group that's coming out, and they are really adding some energy to our stadium and to the team and to the field this year. And I give them a lot of credit. We had a spell against Tennessee in our game on Sunday where we were on the ropes a little bit. Tennessee was mounting a little bit of a comeback, and the crowd just stayed behind us and kept pushing our players on. And that's what home field advantage is. It makes a difference. And so we're hoping that we get that again on Sunday against LSU.
Well, Coach, congratulations on a great past week, and good luck on this coming up weekend.
Thanks, Christopher.
For head coach Todd Bramble, I'm Christopher England, and that's it for this edition of the Crimson Tide Connection.